Hey, all right, welcome to the Tuesday show. My name's Ultra David.
And I don't hear anything on my head. Can people hear us right now? Because I don't hear anything over my thing over here. That's why, because I have the wrong one plugged in.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Anyway,
okay.
I'm Ultra David.
And I'm James Chen.
How's everybody going?
Yeah, how's everybody going? There we go. I can hear everybody now. Sweet. Okay. Sorry about that.
So we're going to talk about these topics today. We're going to talk about Kemonomichi, especially the Daigo versus Tokido part of it. We're going to talk about Tekken ELEAGUE, which we weren't here to talk about last week, and, you know, just interesting stuff to talk about in that.
Right, absolutely.
Some good points. Final round preview, especially Goichi versus Sonic Fox.
Oh, man. I can't believe that that's actually going to go down.
I know.
Like, I feel like, I think someone tweeted this, but they should have saved it for a Kemonomichi or something like that, you know what I mean? But
that'd be very cool to see.
I heard it's... Oh, anyways, we can get into it.
We'll talk about that.
We'll get into it later.
Yeah. And then we'll talk about, of course, the new Smash, whatever it may be. Is it a new game or what? And etc. We'll talk about Broly. There's a game clip of him out. You know, other stuff too. But anyway, let's start with talking about Kemonomichi.
That's right. So I actually just saw it today.
Yeah, I saw that you saw it. I watched a little bit of you seeing it.
So that was actually pretty cool. Obviously, I'd seen the results. I'd seen a lot of people talk about it. I didn't see exactly how it went down, what it was that Daigo necessarily did to win that one. But I just, you know, obviously the main things was that Daigo won. Surprise, spoilers, 10-5.
Well, let's talk about what it was. So Kemonomichi was... it's like a series of first to tens, and it's the second time they've done it. There was a first to 10 between two Super Turbo players, two Tekken players, then two Street Fighter V players, Daigo and Tokido. The Super Turbo players were Kotaka Shoten, Guile, and Ito DJ, and then Yu Xiaoyu versus Tanukana Xiaoyu in Tekken. So yeah, it's super cool. They have these arcade cabs that they're playing at, or I guess Street Fighter V is not on that, but the others are. And there's a little crowd gathered around, and they got the, high quality commentary there. It's sick, dude.
One of the things they were saying though is that the venue is super hot. Like they were saying that it got like super crowded, and you could see Giuna in the background. He's just going, whole entire time because of how hot he is back there. But that almost kind of gives it that old school feel.
Actually,
you know
I like
what I mean?
that, yeah.
You know,
for sure.
Because that's how events were a long time ago.
Oh,
You'd get into this giant stuffy room and everything. Nowadays, you have an event, and if the air conditioner's not good, this event sucks.
Yeah, they were sweltering for sure. So yeah, a little bit of that old school feel. So, did you watch all of them, or
I
only
I did not watch the Super Turbo or the Tekken one, so I just got to see that one. So I'm gonna go back and try to catch those ones.
You should
maybe do some DHCs on that one too, especially because Super Turbo, of course.
Well, so, I mean they were both super awesome. So I did Super Turbo. Kotaka Shoten Guile beat Ito DJ 10-6, but it was really close. It was like 5-4 for Ito for a while. Like he was in the lead a couple of times,
right?
And then the Guile player just blew him up. Just figured it out. Really, really good. Super sick spacing. Yeah,
one of the cool things about that too is that DJ is just always one of those characters that I feel like he's one of the best characters in Super Turbo, but not a lot of people represent him. You know, obviously we have Afro Legends here in the States, who's probably the best DJ in the country, but I haven't heard about a lot of Japanese DJ players, so it's cool.
I don't think there are that many, but he's definitely one of those characters where it's like they're not the top tier, but they do everything. There's like him, like Guile, like Ryu, like they're not the best, but they just do everything. So if you're good, you'll be good.
It's one of those ones that on paper you're like, how are they not the best?
Right.
Which is kind of an indication of how broken some of the best characters are.
For sure.
So, yeah.
No, it was a really, really good set. And then Yu versus Tanukana was mega hype, dude. It was amazing. It was super close. It was back and forth. I mean, almost literally back and forth the entire time. 1-1, the other one. And then it came down to the actual last round.
Last game, last round.
Awesome set. Like, I only sort of, on the surface, understand Tekken. But even for me, it was super awesome.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Because, I mean, that's the hardest thing, too, is that, there's... Hey, I understand Tekken, and then there's I understand Xiaoyu, because that character is just craziness. So it's always going to be a little bit more crazy with that character.
But yeah, it was really cool. We see Tano kind of traveling around a little bit, not Yu, so I hope that would be something that she does.
Yeah, I wonder if that was one of the motivations of it. You know what I mean? Because like Tano Kana got sponsored and everything, and she gets to travel a little more. I wonder if Yu's being like, hey, look, she's not the only one, okay? Like,
I hear you.
You could fly somebody else around too. So
yeah, it'd
be interesting. Yeah.
And then the headliner was, of course, CYG Daigo versus Echo Fox Tokido Gal versus Akuma. Daigo ended up winning 10-5.
Yes. And, of course, the number one thing that a lot of people are talking about was Tokido's reaction.
Yes, when he did lose.
When he lost, yeah. I mean, the match, it's funny because the matches were super great. The matches were super good. And I feel like Tokido's reaction almost kind of, that story is almost kind of like overshadowing the actual match itself.
Yeah, the matches were good. The games were good. They are clearly playing on a level that's like something else from me because so for example, Daigo closed out the first game with like a wake up flash kick.
Right. Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, how in the world did Echo Fox Tokido not expect that? How?
Right.
Like it's a long
in game
set.
Number one.
It's game number one. Daigo likes to do uppercut. How? And yet he's super smart. So how is what happened to convince him to not think that there was going to be a flash kick? I don't know. I'm genuinely surprised.
Because
and there was a bunch of stuff like that throughout the set.
Even when I was watching it today, and I talked about as soon as that happened, I was like, man. Like, this is what me and David always say, that you test the waters early.
Right.
You establish that you're willing to do it.
It's known. Everybody does
that. Right, exactly. So, I don't know.
I found it surprising, but that's not to say that, they're dummies. They're super smart. So, I don't know. I'm not sure how to explain it. I would love to know more. But, yeah, the whole match was full of stuff like that. Very interesting decisions. Very interesting to see Daigo not charging for Flash Kick or Sonic Boom a lot of the time. He was actually just playing footsies, walking around.
And all of his damage came from small pokes.
Right.
It was never because Street Fighter V, we're all used to knock down meaty and then big old damage. You watch all these Javits 2 combo kill videos, and stuff like that. But, the fact that Daigo did all of his damage through, here's a Sobat, here's a crouching medium kick. Hey, you got hit by an EX Sonic Boom. And honestly, that's what made every time he got flash kick into critical art that much more devastating because then he did get the big damage and you're like, dang it, Tokido's just probably like, he can't afford to take that damage. But I mean, from watching it, it just felt like Tokido never could get a momentum going. I never saw, he probably made 1 or 2 comebacks, but Daigo would get the lead early on and then he just wouldn't relinquish it.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, Tokido would get the big lead, and Daigo could still make the comeback. It was weird how even though Tokido got closer than anybody else in those first to 10 sets like that.
That's true. Yeah.
It felt like But towards the end, I could just feel the desperation in Tokido. It's just nothing's really working. You know what I mean? It's okay, I'm alive. I won these few games, but why? It was almost like he probably couldn't even figure out what was working.
Yeah. I saw a little spiel with Daigo talking about the match with Fudo, and Daigo had a really interesting take on why he wasn't doing charges, right? Why he wasn't crouching for flash kick and stuff. And it was because he likened it to the lag that you get on a laggy monitor. If you're crouching, it takes a couple of frames before you can do other stuff, right? You have to stand up, then you're walking around. You have to physically, move the stick, but it takes a little bit. Those are minimal frames, but they're there.
Right.
And so he wanted to keep his options as open as possible for those important moments.
That's so crazy.
So he would rather give up the possibility of great anti-air or invincible tool or horizontal screen control for those little moments, those little anti-airs or footsies, sobats, whatever it was. And he was right. I mean, he made the right decisions a ton of times.
Dude, the crazy thing was there were so many times that in neutral he wouldn't even be moving the joystick. He would just be standing still.
Just there.
And he would block at the last second. And in a game with input lag like that, I just feel There's had to have been anticipation. It's just like he just knew Tokido was going to attack right there, and he would block at the last second, because I just don't feel like there's any way you could do that properly through pure reaction. But he was doing it, so
he did
there's
it.
just something.
I don't know. Yeah, you allude to how Daigo seems to blow up everybody when he has long sets, right? Like he and Evo champions even
10-0 Cien after Cien won.
One Evo.
10-2 Infiltration after Infiltration won Evo. And then, he lost a long set to Itazan, but that was a weird format where you had to win 2 in a row to get a point. There was like 5 sets.
Yeah.
And if it was just based off of games, he would have won that 10-4. Itazan came back towards the end, but Daigo actually started that one stronger. So, in all these first to 10 sets, is there anyone better than Daigo in a first to 10 set?
Don't think so. I haven't seen it. Yeah. It's funny. I feel like I'm always picking against Daigo when it comes to tournament play. It's like not intentional. It's just that's how it always seems to go.
Right.
But if it comes to a first to 10, some long set, you know I'm picking him every time.
Especially if he has time to think about it and time to practice on it. Because he even said in the interview afterwards, he was like, yeah, I practiced and played. And what was actually interesting, he was like, yeah, the closer we got to the event, he was like, I got more and more nervous because I was like, can I execute all the things that I practiced, right? And I thought there was 2 really important things about that, right? One is that, this is prep time Daigo. Like everyone makes this joke about prep time Daigo that he's basically invincible, and he kind of is in a way. But the second thing too, and this is kind of a little on a tangent here, but everybody always asks me and you and everybody, the question is, how do you stop getting nervous when you play in tournaments? And my answer to always people is you don't.
Yeah.
You just learn to channel it in different ways, or you learn how to control it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's never gone.
Right. And Daigo even said that, right? He was like, he was getting a little nervous as it kept getting closer, because he even said that if he felt like if he lost to Tokido, that would mean like it's the beginning of him getting washed up, like he just can't hang anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is for any competition. You hear about boxers getting nervous before their big fights. You hear the same about big MMA fighters. Like that's how it is before a big competition. Once you're in it, if you've trained like he did,
right,
and you have that sort of skill and talent, and you have the training, and when it comes to the actual game, the actual playing, you're not going to be like debilitated.
Right.
But leading up to it, everybody gets nervous.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's just always the trick. You'll never get over it necessarily. You'll never get past those nerves.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people just learn how to control it a little bit, or maybe even channel it in a positive way, kind of thing. So it's just a good lesson to learn. So
yeah, super impressed by Daigo. I hope that he does better. I mean, he got top 8 at Capcom Cup, so it's not like he's doing badly last year. Right? But I hope that he does more consistently better, because when he's playing really well, it's a treat to watch.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Daigo is I don't feel like he's as good in the tournament environment, right?
Yeah.
So cause
good, but not this good.
Yeah, he doesn't get prep time. However, every year we've said this about Daigo in the tournaments, right? Like season 1 started, he was kind of weak, and then he got stronger a little bit towards the end. Season 2, he tried Ryu for a really long time, it didn't work, and then Guile was like, okay, and then it was working, and then it was working, and then towards the end he did better. Remember, he started Evo Japan in 3rd place, right? So, I think he's already kind of up there, so I expect him to do super, super well this year.
I hope so.
I'm kind of excited to see a Daigo resurgence this year. So
me too. Yeah, I enjoy watching him for sure.
Right.
Well, okay.
I actually got to rant about this a little bit on the stream earlier today, so I just want to know, obviously, I mean, I don't think your opinion is going to be any different than mine, but Tokido's reaction, the tears, the crying, like, what's your take on that,
It's cool with me. I mean, I don't have anything against that.
Right.
I get it. I don't know that I've ever fought hard enough in a video game competition to have experienced that level of emotion, but it has happened to me in other things in the past, like in sports or whatever, in school. Especially when I was a kid, when I lost the county spelling bee one year, I got 2nd place in the county, and I lost. I busted up, dude. I was crying for sure, because I studied so much for that. that hasn't happened in a long time. But like I sort of understand the feeling of it for sure.
You know what? It's funny. I cried after losing a spelling bee as well. Really? That definitely happened. Yeah, spelling bee stress. Right. There we go. Yeah. Let's do it.
Well, I was also mad because the word that they gave me, I was like 11 or something. The word that they gave me was 12th, right? No, it was litmus. It was litmus.
Litmus.
I'd never heard of litmus before because we hadn't done science in that way yet. And so I was just like, all right, can you pronounce it again? And they were like, litmus.
Oh, yeah,
and I didn't say the T because I didn't hear the T.
Oh, so you even had the U properly, huh?
I don't remember, to be honest. Okay. But I remember not having the T and losing and being super pissed that they just couldn't pronounce litmus right. That was so bad. Anyway, this is all a big tangent. All right. That's awesome. I'm totally not against people crying in situations where they've put in a ton of emotion into the situation. I totally get that. Sure. Right.
And, you know, for me, I take it on an even larger level, kind of the rant that I was having on the stream earlier today. You know, I think that one of the biggest problems of our society, just as a whole, is that we're not allowed to cry. That crying is a sign of weakness, that you're not a man, that, you have to be tough, suck it up kind of thing. I think that's honestly a problem because I think it's probably one of the most cathartic emotions out there. Usually after a good cry, you feel better, you know, in a weird way because you kind of get that release. And without it, you're bottling up. I feel like that's where a lot of the problems come in. And to be fair, to be honest, I actually think that Tokido crying is more of a sign of maturity than not crying, you know, because that just shows how strong he wanted it, how much he cared and everything. Yeah. So, to see him cry about it actually, to me, makes me respect him more and also think that it's a more adult thing, you know what I mean? Because, you know, if you sit there and you're just crying doesn't necessarily mean you have to be sore loser, that kind of crying, right? But that kind of, because it's a different kind of emotion. Sure. And to me, I think that's super important. And I actually think the world would be a better place if everybody cried more freely, to be honest with you, because I feel like people wouldn't be bottling as much stuff. And like I said, those kind of cries, those emotional cries, not the angry, stupid, spoiled brat kind of crying, but the actual emotional, cathartic crying, I think is actually really important for the soul. And I think a lot of people would be better off if they let themselves do that some more. Now, obviously, I cry all the time during Evos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of emotion in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Built up over a long period of time.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I get it. For me, crying is not like that. It's something that I do rarely. I don't feel like I should be ashamed or hide it, but it just is not something that comes up very often. Right. So if you're the kind of person who has that proclivity, then I don't think you should be embarrassed about it.
Right.
Right? I kind of don't, but I'm not embarrassed about that either.
Right.
So, but just express yourself in the way that makes sense to you.
Right.
That's all.
And exactly. And if you're a person who doesn't cry, I don't think that there's anything wrong with you. I'm not saying you should cry more, your life will be better kind of thing. But if you're the kind of person who doesn't cry, that's fine. But it should not be considered a weakness that somebody else does. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And hearing a little bit more about the backstory to it, you know, they've been playing forever. Tokido and Daigo have. Tokido has said that he feels that even if somebody wins tournaments, they may not be the best if they can't beat everybody else in long sets. And that's, you know, not just an opinion that he holds. Other people hold that opinion as well. And so there's even though he won Evo and he got second at Capcom Cup.
Yeah.
He did super, super well last year. That is not necessarily what matters to him most. What matters to him most is being the best, and however he defines that.
Right, and he said even in the trailer that he's always kind of been behind Daigo. He's kind of considered him that guy.
Right,
and so to get that win was so important to him, and he didn't get it.
Right, but at the same time, clearly important to Daigo because Daigo said that he spent the last month or two only playing against Akuma. He specifically picked two players to train them as Akumas so that he could play against them to learn how to play against Tokido.
Yeah.
And he only played against the character even to the potential detriment of coming into the final round without really having practiced
right.
against other characters that much. That's how much it mattered to Daigo also, right? So it's definitely both sides here.
Right, and also, it probably also didn't help that Tokido was kind of feeling bad and like trying to be like, how did I lose? And then Daigo's like, doesn't matter. You've already beat me in everything else outside of the game.
He's a nice
when
guy.
Daigo said that kind of thing, I'm sure that kind of swells up the emotions in you as well. To have someone like that say that about you probably means a lot as well. So
imagine it
kind
does.
of like a two-sided thing. You sad that he lost, and then Daigo with the blindsided compliment right there. Like the blindsided, not just compliment, but like you've already surpassed me in everything else. And Tokido's like, what the hell,
That's big. That's big. It was a really good event. It's already the second one, so I'm sure that, well, I hope at least that they'll be doing more of it, but it was, it seemed like a pretty successful thing. So I
even
hope
in the credits, he teased Kemonomichi 3. He was like, "Coming soon?" ?
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be coming, and it's a great thing. He said that he does it because he wants to bring some more excitement into the FGC, into the esports scene in Japan.
Right.
And so I think they're doing a great job with that. So really shout outs to the entire staff there. Daigo and Papa Chihuahua doing the commentary with Fudo, and Jiuna doing a lot of the translations before and after the tournament and everything, and obviously a lot of other guys. I think Matsuda showed up there as well, and a whole bunch of other guys I know are doing behind-the-scene works there.
Did you see the picture of their streaming setup?
No.
It was like maximum way too fancy.
Really?
Like way fancier than you would think for like just an arcade cab plus like 2 cameras. It was super fancy.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, if you can do it, and
I think that's great. Maybe not necessary, but great because that implies that there's some dollars in there. I hope to see more stuff and cool stuff out of it.
Yeah, making sure that it turns out good. So
right.
It's good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a professional crew considering the stuff that they had there. Okay, that was good.
Yeah, good stuff. And like I said, it's just, man, the way that Daigo could control a match is just, I feel like, unlike any other. So again, we talked about the greatest of all time recently, previously, and, we didn't put Daigo up there, we put Tokido up there. Even I got a lot of people on my Twitter after he lost, like, so what do you think about your greatest of all time?
That's funny.
And I was like, Jesus, like, Tokido would probably destroy Daigo in like so many other games, right? Because it's just not the games that Daigo plays, right?
Yeah, Daigo at one point played multiple games.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago now.
Right, and to be honest with you, I think if you're talking about in a 1 to 10 sets only in that one game, Daigo is he's the best.
Probably the best.
But like in terms of breadth and like the stuff that you've done, the amount that you've won, it's two very different kind of things.
It really is. Yeah, it is very, very different. I know for me, the things that matter most are tournaments. That's what matters. When I think of who's the best, the way I define it is in part by tournaments. Not who can beat whom in just that wasn't a casual set necessarily, but not in tournament. Right? Tournaments matter.
Right.
To me, that's what matters most. So in coming to my greatest of all time thing, it was tournament results.
Right.
That was why I picked Tokido.
Yeah, same here. So
I think that might be a cultural difference to some degree, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, for sure. But as we mentioned, if it was a 1 to 10 competition, Daigo's probably the best.
Only one dude you're gonna pick, for sure.
Except, God, I said it on stream. I was like, I would love to see a 1 to 10 between Daigo and Sonic Fox in something. But they don't play the same game. Like, they do not play the same game of anything. Daigo's not even playing Dragon Ball.
That's right. Yeah.
Makes me sad that it'll never happen. So
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Street Fighter 6 or something.
Maybe one day. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, probably enough for that.
Yep. Okay.
You want to talk about old Tekken?
Oops, sorry. I had the whole wrong thing highlighted this whole entire time. That is my B. Yay, Kemonomichi.
Right, not anymore.
Yeah.
Tekken ELEAGUE. This was already a week and a half ago, but like I said, we weren't here to talk about it last week, so bring it up a little bit.
This is another one of those unfortunate ones. I didn't get a chance to see a lot of this, so I was busy that weekend. Okay. So
I did watch most of it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the draft part of it, which was I was really looking forward to that. was before they said that they were live.
Right.
So I didn't think it was streamed, but I didn't know to like watch it then, which is kind of a bummer. Anyway, so the teams were cool. You know, it was a team thing, and it was a draft. So one person, four people got to pick their teams, right? And like rotating kind of situation. And then they ended up with these teams.
Do you remember how they chose the captains?
They were just announced going into it.
Okay.
But in terms of the order that the captains picked, they played.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Cuddlecore won, or she
won
somebody.
A bunch of them in a row.
That was in the actual tournament.
tournament.
Yeah, she played super well.
Okay.
So third place, you know, it was a single elim kind of situation. Third places were Team NYC Fab, which was NYC Fab, Princess Ling, Incog, Rixta, and Jackie Tran, and Team Anakin, which was Anakin, Joey Fury, Speed Kicks, Sparagin, and Obscure. Second place, Team Pokechop, which was Pokechop, Lil Majin, Shadow, Way Gamble, and Mateo. And then winner was Team Cuddlecore with Cuddlecore, Jimmy J. Tran, Cody, Brawl Pro, and Kawaii Face Miles. You know, going after the teams were selected, there was like a whole little round table with the commentators, right? The whole analysts. And they mostly picked like Team Anakin and Team NYC Fab to win. But of course, they ended up
in the third place.
Third and third. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad Pokechop made it on TV. He's going to make it on TV.
Right. I guess it hasn't been aired, or
yeah, I don't think it's been aired yet.
It's a little while still.
Because they're going to split it into like 4 episodes or something like that, right? So so they're probably editing it together. But I'm just excited that Pokechop was one of the captains and he got to do a lot of his antics on the stream and stuff.
But what I really appreciated about it was that they didn't like try to make him a clown. They were just like, they put him out there like with everybody else, and they weren't like constantly going. Like I was kind of worried that they would like sort of artificially play it up, but they didn't do that. They did it very well.
Good.
And they did have a microphone near where the teams were sitting, but you couldn't hear it like during the match. And then like as they were going to break, they'd be like, "Let's hear from Pokechop." You know how they do that on sports,
see
what the players,
the coach Mike,
Then they did that. They let you hear what he was saying. So they did a really good job of it, I thought, and the commentary was all good. You know, they picked good folks for that.
You were talking about how it might have been some of the best work that you've heard Rip do. Right?
Oh, Rip, I thought was having a day. He did super well on commentary. I feel like you can really tell when somebody loves the game. Like that, Rip is a good commentator regardless, but you know, Injustice is not his favorite. Street Fighter V is not his favorite.
Right.
He does play Injustice, by the way, but Tekken is his favorite.
Yeah.
Right. It's clear.
Dude, I told you before. I mean, we got interviewed when we were at SenCal by just like some people asking about commentary, and they were like, "What's some of the most important things about commentary?" And one of my number one things has always been just have fun. You know, make sure that you're enjoying yourself because it comes through on camera.
Yeah.
And that happens when you're commentating your favorite game.
Right.
You just get happy about it.
Like I remember the first time that you and I got to commentate Tournament of Legends at Evo, right? Like I think that was maybe the first or second time we had ever commentated Super Turbo, because it was like not really up for the first couple of years of commentating, right? So, man, we were just like oozing love. It was absurd.
Dude, and we got
having such a good time, and I rewatched it and I thought it was really good.
I remember getting a bunch of comments from people like, "We can totally tell you love this game,"
right?
You know?
For sure.
Man.
Yeah, I mean it's an obvious reaction. It's very hard to phone it in. Like if you're worried about watching somebody on commentary and you think, "Oh, they're phoning it in," I feel like it's pretty obvious. When it happens, and typically it doesn't happen. But if it does,
right,
it's hard to hide.
It's clear. It's very clear. And you know, without naming names, I've definitely seen some situations where it's happened.
I mean, I've done it. You know, I did it in Marvel 3 a couple of times. Yeah,
that's right.
There was a period of time when I hated that game, and I definitely phoned it in.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Sure. I remember it.
You were the one that I was thinking of, David. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I did it. I'm not proud of that, but it's true.
Some people are saying that the TBS broadcast might be this Friday.
Okay, sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, awesome job by Cuddlecore. As you said, she did win a bunch of games in a row, and there was a moment when it was her versus, was it Shadow who blew up everybody in the first round? I think it was Shadow and Cuddlecore on the two different sides who basically blew up their opposing teams.
Okay.
And then they had to play against each other in the final, and it was a really good match. But Shadow won.
Yeah, again, like I said, I missed a lot of that. It makes me sad. I need to go. Well, I might just watch the TBS. The TBS.
You'll find out what happens after a month of watching.
Exactly, but I mean, it's funny too because I saw like before it happened that a lot of people were saying whichever team Jimmy J Tran got on was going to win. I mean,
right.
It did, but it wasn't all just him. But
it was not.
I saw Flo tweeting out like before. He's like, "Watch with all the hype that Jimmy J Tran's going to go 0-2 or whatever." But I heard he still was.
He was good.
He was destroying everybody.
He was good. I mean, he ended up clinching it. So the system was that after your team in the finals, after your team was fully gone, you got to resurrect one person for like a final.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So obviously they picked Jimmy.
Right.
Right. Jimmy lost to, I think, Shadow, and then they picked Jimmy to resurrect, and then Jimmy beat Shadow to end his team, so they resurrected Shadow, and then there was like the final, match. Jimmy won. So.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was
I
really
need to
good
go and watch
set
that.
of matches.
I need to go watch that. Yeah, but unfortunately I was not available that
Highly
weekend.
recommended.
So, yeah. Sad about that. They said he lost to Little Majin.
Oh, was it Majin? Oh,
yeah,
it was Majin. No, you're right.
Majin.
It was Majin.
It
Yeah.
Okay.
You're totally right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Good job to Little Majin. God,
Yeah.
I just had my cat sleeping on me.
Okay.
And like I'm sneezing now, and I'm like sniffling. I took my allergy medication,
allergic,
but like I don't know if that messed me up because like I was literally inhaling cat in front of my face. So, okay. All right.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one.
Jimmy became the villain for the crowd the whole day because he said his team wasn't that great.
He did say that, yeah.
Jimmy,
he did.
Mr. Naps, come on.
And then they were like, they were asking like, what's your game plan or whatever? Like, how do you feel your chances are? And he was just like, if I play normal Tekken, I should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy, that's it.
Hey, dude,
that's all it takes.
He had one of his original nicknames was Shang Tsung. I think everyone used to call him that because he used to have the long hair.
He sure did.
And so he lived up to that, being the bad guy.
Evil fella. Yeah, that was cool.
That's funny.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, hope to see more stuff out of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So. All right, well, do you want to take a break? And then when we come back, we can talk about final round coming up, which is like the start of everything, right? It's just like the start of all circuits and everything like that. Okay, so we'll be right back, guys, with some final round preview.